Magnus Carlsen is arguably the best chess player in the world, winning nearly all the games he goes on to play. He has proven time and again that he is a true master of the game. But what happens when he faces a chess master after he's just had 5 shots of alcohol and is extremely drunk? In this video, we'll explore a fascinating and unexpected event in which Magnus played against a highly skilled opponent while under the influence of alcohol. This is not your average chess match. It's a battle of wits, strategy, and control. It's all happening under the influence. You will see the surprising twists and turns that take place during the game as Magnus attempts to outsmart his opponent despite being inebriated. We will examine his moves, analyze his thought process, and witness the unfolding drama of this highly unusual chess match. If you're a fan of chess or just love a good underdog story, then you don't want to miss this. Stay tuned until the end of the video to find out who comes out on top and how they did it. With the opening moves made, Magnus's opponent, Damien Robillard, starts the game with a classic e4, to which a drunken Magnus responds with a surprising move, the Sicilian defense's c5. The crowd seems to cheer Damien on as he plays his pawn to a3, but little do they know that Magnus is about to unleash his drunken genius upon his unsuspecting opponent. The atmosphere is tense, and the anticipation of what is to come is palpable. It's a move that could either make or break the game, and all eyes are on Magnus. The excitement is building, and the crowd can hardly contain themselves. Who will emerge victorious in this epic chess showdown? The master or the drunkard? The stage is set, the pieces are in place, and the game is afoot. Magnus, with his trademark confidence, boldly moves his pawn to g6, setting the stage for a thrilling contest. It's clear that he's not going to let a little alcohol stop him from playing his best game. It seems like Damien might have a chance, but when things start to look up, Magnus makes his move, and the crowd can sense that something incredible is about to happen. With Damien playing a more passive game, Magnus takes advantage of the opportunity to develop his knight. Damien plays a fantastic move with a4, and even Magnus can't help but applaud. But little do they know that Magnus has something up his sleeve that will leave Damien reeling. Magnus Block White's a4 pawn, triggering a series of pawn trades. Damien's knight takes center stage, preparing to castle and gain a strong position, while Magnus responds poorly with a blunder, giving Damien the upper hand. Without hesitation, Damien seizes the opportunity to castle, and both players begin to position their pieces for the ultimate showdown. As the game heats up, Magnus reaches for his rook to castle queenside, but to everyone's surprise, his unsteady hand betrays him. In a drunken haze, he struggles to hold the pieces correctly. With time running out and the pressure mounting, it seems inevitable that Magnus will make a critical mistake. Damien, ever the opportunist, senses his opponent's weakness and expertly maneuvers his knight back to d1, poised to strike with deadly precision from a position of strength. Will Magnus be able to recover from his drunken stumble and regain his footing on the board? Only time will tell as the battle for victory rages on. Damien made a bold move by positioning his knight to e3. With a flick of his wrist, Magnus retaliated by pushing his pawn deeper, creating an awe-inspiring pawn chain. Damien wasn't intimidated and quickly launched an attack on Magnus's queen and knight, forcing a trade that evened up the position. But Magnus wasn't one to back down easily. With each move, his pieces were getting closer and closer to Damien's king, putting him under immense pressure. Despite the mounting tension, Damien remained calm and collected, fully aware that his time was running out. The fate of the game hung in the balance, and both players knew that a single move could mean the difference between victory and defeat. The air crackled with tension as Damien made his move, deftly capturing Magnus's bishop in a bold maneuver. Magnus responded in kind, snatching back the piece with his rook in a move that left Damien reeling. Not one to be deterred, Damien quickly regrouped, plotting his next move with laser focus. He knew that the key to victory lay in creating chaos in the center of the board, and so he boldly pushed his pawn to d4, his mind already racing ahead to possibilities. But Magnus was no slouch, and he saw through Damien's strategy with uncanny precision. In a flash, he found the perfect counter move, neatly snatching one of Damien's pawn and leaving his opponent scrambling to catch up. Despite the setback, Damien remained undaunted, his eyes gleaming with a fierce determination to emerge victorious. With the game hanging in balance, every move was crucial, and both players knew that the slightest misstep could spell disaster. Suddenly, Damien spotted an opening and pounced on it, unleashing a devastating attack on Magnus's queen. Magnus, caught off guard, could only sputter drunkenly in frustration before regaining his composure and launching a counterattack. But Damien was ready for him, and with a deft move of his rook, he blocked Magnus's checkmate attempt with ease. Magnus laughed in disbelief, but the tide was about to turn in a way that would leave him reeling. In a moment of confusion, Magnus made a catastrophic blunder, moving his rook to d8 and exposing himself to a devastating counterattack from Damien. The room fell silent as Damien prepared to strike, his eyes gleaming with the thrill of victory. For a time, Magnus had seemed to have the upper hand, his pieces lining up ominously toward Damien's king. But suddenly, everything changed. With a daring move, Damien placed his queen on c3, a wicked grin spreading across his face as he threatened to take Magnus's pawn with a devastating check. Magnus hesitated for just a moment, and at that moment, he made a fatal mistake. Without fully considering the consequences, Magnus allowed Damien to make his move, and in doing so, he squandered his big advantage. Damien saw the opportunity and seized it with ruthless efficiency, launching a blistering attack on Magnus's position that left his opponent scrambling to defend himself. Hold on to your seats because the chessboard is heating up. Damien and Magnus are facing off in an intense battle of strategy and skill, and Damien's pieces are slowly but surely closing in on Magnus's king, and the tension is at an all-time high. Just when you think the game is at a stalemate, a jaw-dropping move is made. In a shocking turn of events, the queen is traded and the players are left with an absolutely equal position. But don't get too comfortable, because this is an endgame, and Damien is up against the legendary Magnus Carlsen, considered by many to be the greatest endgame player ever to grace the board. As if the stakes weren't high enough, things take a wild turn when Magnus makes a fatal error. With a cunning attack on Damien's rook, it seems like Magnus has the upper hand. But wait, Damien pulls off a move that completely blows Magnus's mind. Bishop d5 threatens a terrifying check on Magnus's king, putting him in a dangerously vulnerable position. And just when you thought things couldn't get any more intense, Magnus makes yet another deadly blunder by moving his king to b8. The chess world is buzzing with excitement as these two titans continue to battle it out. Each move is more unexpected than the last. Damien is on the brink of victory, and if he can keep up his winning streak, he'll be able to claim victory over none other than the world champion, Magnus Carlsen. With a sly move, Damien takes a free pawn and moves his rook to h7, putting Magnus on the defensive. But don't count Magnus out yet. He's got an endgame brain that's always one step ahead of his opponent. With a move that attacks Damien's king, he puts pressure on Damien to respond accurately. It's in these nail-biting moments that even the best players start to crumble. But Damien is no slouch either. He responds with a slick move to g3, causing Magnus to rethink his strategy. With lightning-fast reflexes, Magnus lays his rook to f8, threatening to check Damien's king with a daring pawn move to f2. Not one to back down, Damien moves his rook to a7, hoping to check Magnus's king and win his rook. But Magnus is quick on the draw, moving his rook out of harm's way. Damien responds by moving his other rook up the board, hoping to gain the upper hand. But just when you think the game couldn't get any more intense, Magnus makes a stunning move, checking Damien and taking a pawn. Damien is backed into a corner, and it seems like there's only one move left for him to make. With his heart pounding in his chest, Damien takes a deep breath and makes the daring move, Rook a8. This move opens up a world of possibilities for Damien, allowing him to forever check Magnus's king and keep him on the ropes. But Magnus is not one to give up easily. He's got a trick up his sleeve and he's ready to play it. With a glint in his eyes, Magnus makes a bold move, Knight g4, signaling the start of what could be the game-winning play. Magnus brings his knight into the game, trying to create some chaos and throw Damian off his game. But little does Magnus know, Damian has already anticipated his moves and has a counterattack up his sleeve. Just when you think the game couldn't get any more intense, Magnus pulls out all the stops and launches a surprise attack, checking Damian and forcing his king away from the action. But Damian is not one to back down without a fight. With his back against the wall, he fights back with everything he's got, determined to hold onto his position and take down the reigning champ. However, just when it seems like Damian might be able to turn the tables, Magnus makes a bold move, promoting his pawn to a brand new queen. The crowd gasps in amazement as Magnus unleashes a devastating blow, completely destroying Damian and securing another dominant win. As the players shake hands and the crowd cheers, it's clear that this was one for the history books. Who will come out on top next time these two chess titans face off? Only time will tell. We hope you enjoyed watching this unusual chess match and gained a new appreciation for the complexities of the game. Thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more exciting content from the world of chess.